All right, hello everybody. Here's my week 8 picks, starting with the Thursday night's game. Obviously, last week was I want to say a little rocky, but for most of my picks were actually pretty correct, minus I think it was 2 or 3 picks. Uh, Barely missed it again. I know there was one picks to win $900 came on Monday night, and Bears could not capitalize. I believe that the Rams punter was just too good that game, like unbelievable. But anyways, my first game is obviously the Falcons versus the Panthers. Oh, both teams are coming off a loss. I would say the Falcons are probably the most disappointing one, as Detroit came back within like 40 seconds to drive down the field and get a touchdown, followed by a few penalties, which caused it, of course. But nonetheless, they lost again with seconds to spare. I think Falcons will take this win. It's it's a division game. It's going to be pretty tough. I still think the new coach is, trying to improve himself. Uh, I want to see who plays this game. I don't think McCaffrey is in. If he was, it'd be a little bit different. I still want to take the Falcons by 4 in this game. So I'm gonna have to choose the Falcons for odds wise, and I'd possibly choose them for win wise as well. I know that the odds line is for Panthers to win by 4. I just don't see it happening. Then we got the Rams and the Dolphins. Oh, that's a pretty hard pick. I know Rams did good against the Bears, but they did horrible the week before. Dolphins started off bad. Now they're on what 2, 3 game win streak. I think Tua's about to play. I'm not too sure. Uh, we'll see how he plays. I think it's if he does end up being the starting, I think he has some little jitters. Especially the team all around. I like the Rams in this one. I'm gonna have to take them. If they play like last game, there's no doubt that the Rams will win, and I think the Rams will win probably by a margin of at least 7 to 11 points. Yeah, the odds are for Rams to win by at least 5, so I'll have to take the Rams in this one. Then we got the Colts and Lions. Colts coming off of a bye. I think it'll help Rivers out to get more acquainted with the team. Lions did come off of a huge upset to the Falcons on the final drive, which definitely lifted them a little bit. Swift also, like as I said last week, was going to be one of the key players to that game. He ended up doing pretty decent for the Lions. Not too bad to see a rookie coming in and doing that. Uh, but I think overall the Colts have a rookie running back as well in Taylor. I think overall he's helping his team out a lot. They still have Hilton and a few other key players. I feel like they haven't used Hilton as much as they could, but I'm gonna have to pick the Colts in this one. I just don't think the Lions are ready to stop them, and the odds are Colts to win by 4, so I'd take them to win and for them to win by at least 8. Next up is going to be a pretty good matchup. The Raiders coming off of a loss and the Browns coming off of a win on one of the final drives. Uh, Raiders look decent against the Buccaneers. S- single-handedly put up some numbers and possibly against a pretty heavy defense. Uh, I wanted to say the Browns did barely pull a win against the Bengals, and Bengals are still an up and down team. They're just one of the worst teams in the NFL, technically, by record. I think Joe Burrow's doing a good job, just not enough. There's not much he can do, especially with that defense. But I'm gonna have to take the Raiders here. I think they have more heart, and all their young players are capitalizing on pretty big plays. I think the Browns are a pretty sluggish team. I really want to say the Raiders win by at least 7. Even though odds say Browns by at least 3, I'm gonna pick the Raiders to win in this one, and I'm also gonna pick them by the odds. So if I were most people, I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are gonna be going with the Rams this week. Next up, we got Vikings and Green Bay. I don't even know what to say about this game. Vikings are just horrible. They're coming off a bye week. They're trying to trade all their players. I really think Packers win by a minimum of 10. I think they'll win by possibly a lot more. All depends what, what the team comes out. But I say Packers win and they take it by the odds, which the odds are 8. Next, we got the Patriots and the Bills. I think everybody's seen this coming, right? Patriots are possibly another pretty bad team here. Cam Newton is pretty much shown his real colors. You know, Patriots are nowhere to be found right now. I think Bills bounce back on some horrible weeks on offense after, their 2, 3 game losses in a row. And then their win comes from a poorly Jets team. And not by much. It was hard for them to score a touchdown. I think their offense comes alive a little bit here more against the Patriots, even though Stephen Gilmore is still one of the top corners in the league. Uh, I just don't think it's enough for the Patriots to do much. I think Bills will win by 15. The odds are Bills to win by 4, so I would take them to win and by odds. Next up is Jets and Chiefs. This one's a little, little insane, but I believe Jets are the worst team in the NFL. That's kind of clueless there. But obviously, anybody that's watching this game is going to go with the Chiefs to win. That's hands down. You, there's no way anybody's going to pick the Jets. But unfortunately, the spread on this game is a little high. I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win. I think they'll win by at least 17 or at most 17. Uh, the odds are Chiefs to cover by 20. I just don't see that happening. So Chiefs to win and maybe Jets by odds if anybody is betting that way. Next up, we got the yeah we got Steelers and Ravens. I believe this one's the game of the week. All right, Steelers coming in this undefeated, only undefeated team in the NFL because Cardinals just beat the Seahawks. I think Ravens have a decent defense, but now they're also practicing Des Bryant for a little bit more wide receiver depth, kind of something they need. Uh, the question here in this game is going to be: is the Steelers front going to be able to stop Jackson from running and making huge plays? I think that I think Jackson does semi decent here, but I think he has a rough time against one of the first teams he'll be playing this season where they actually challenge him. I think Steelers have one of the top defense in the NFL right now overall and a bunch of varieties. And I take Steelers to win. I want to say by 9. I know it's a long shot. The odds are saying Ravens by at least 4. I'm gonna go with Steelers taking this, and even if they do lose, I don't think it's gonna be by much. I can see maybe 1 to 3 points, if that. But I say Steelers by odds and Steelers to win. Next up, we have Titans and Bengals. So this is crazy. Titans were undefeated last week. They lost against the Steelers. Titans have been playing very well. Tannehill is he's just been doing pretty good. Um, they look great. You know, I, I can't choose the Bengals here. I think Joe Burrow scores some touchdowns here. Joe Burrow's done a decent job. Just the Bengals all around are not that great of a team. I think the Titans win here. I want to say at least by 12 points, and the odds have Titans winning by 7. So I would choose both the Titans for odds and to win. Next up, we have a horrible division rivalry here. I only say horrible because technically both their records, not that great. Uh, but Chargers are, they're under with Herbert here. He's actually doing pretty good. Uh, this will be another test for Herbert this week against the Broncos to see how he does. He's played against a lot of other top QBs and against some different defenses, and he's done pretty decent. Uh, I think this is a no-brainer pick. I feel like the Chargers are going to win by at least 8. I don't think there's no hope. any hope for Broncos. I don't think they have the heart to win this. Uh, I had to take the Chargers, and the odds are Chargers by 4. I think they definitely for sure cover. This is another hard game to choose. The odds are Saints by 5, but it's just crazy. The Saints will obviously look for a deep win here because they need to keep up with the Bucks. I don't know if Thomas is playing, so it's a little iffy. If he is, I believe the Saints take it for sure. If not, I believe it makes it harder. They can still win. But Bears last week, it was just horrible. Now I know Rams punter like really screwed them quite a bit actually. I don't even know how that was possible, but their punter did pretty good and kept the Bears down within the 5-yard line every time. I don't know if Nick Foles and the Bears can bounce back. Uh, I like Khalil Mack, great defender. I can see him getting maybe 2 sacks this game. But I think Saints in the end overcome it. I don't. I want to say Saints win the game. I think they do cover the odds by at least 7 to 9 points. Next up, we have another division game, which possibly one of the toughest division this year. It's 49ers and Seahawks. 49ers looks outstanding against the Patriots. Their defense was on fire, unstoppable overall. It was a great week for the 49ers, and everybody loves seeing that. Uh, Seahawks take their first loss to the Cardinals in a spectacular game. It was insane. A lot of people have questions now. Is Metcalf gonna put run as fast and show that much heart and into the game and all plays like how he did? Man, because more people need to have heart like that man. More people play like that guy. A lot more teams would be playing different. Um, this is good. This is a tough game. I really think the defense wins this, so I'm gonna go with the 49ers. And I think the 49ers will at least win by 6 if their defense prevails. The odds are saying Seahawks by 4. I will take the 49ers for the odds. Oh, here's the upsetting game of the week, I guess you could say. But the Eagles squeaked out a Week 7 victory that looked awful. Uh, they still came with a win, though. Cowboys, on the other hand, just look god awful. No defense, no line. Got another QB in. I don't know if he's going to be starting over Dolan, but Dolan got knocked out, and the team just showed no heart to even fight. You know, from my understanding, when a QB gets hit like that, people come off the bench. People come off the bench. A lot of stuff happens. Nobody did this for Dolan. I want to say it's a lack of heart. I don't think anybody on the team has it. It's just insane. I want to see what the defense. What's the defense going to do? What's the offensive line going to do? Is anybody going to stop anything? Uh, they also traded Everson Griffin for a 6th round pick to the Lions, I believe it was. So that's a little interesting. I don't think it was the greatest to do. 6th round pick, not really that great. The odds are unknown right now. Uh, I'm gonna guess that the odds would be close for -6 for Eagles and +6 for Cowboys. I don't know who to choose here. I'm just gonna say it. Both teams keep normally play to like their team advantage of who they're playing against, and sometimes they do good, sometimes they do shit, and it, it's just a hard call. I want to say the Cowboys because I'm a Cowboys fan. 'Cause I'd like to see them win, but I really want to choose the Eagles. But because I don't know the odds, it's kind of hard to say. I don't really know who's going to win this game, so even if they do come out with the odds tomorrow, I will not pick out of this game. I'll only pick out of the other games because nobody knows which team's going to show up. Nobody knows who's going to show up from the Eagles. Nobody knows who's going to show up from the Cowboys. This could be really either team's game. But judging from past and like how everything's playing out, I really think the Eagles have it. But I'm also going to hope that the Cowboys bounce around here and Danucci, if he does start, he can run a little bit. I think the Cowboys can possibly win this one. I know it's a long shot, but then again, with the division how it is now, any team in there right now is a long shot. So if I have to pick to win, I will. As much as I want to say Eagles, I will say Cowboys only because a few differences here, and I want to say if the odds are anywhere from +6 to +14 for Cowboys, or especially if it's +14, I would take the Cowboys in a heartbeat. That's just too high of a spread in a division game that's with two horrible teams. Next up, we have Buccaneers and Giants. First off, Buccaneers are coming off against a good win against the Raiders. Raiders were on, high hopes. Raiders kept in it for a little bit, but Buccaneers still, able to pull off the win and go home. Uh, I think they got an easy week this week. I think it's kind of a no-brainer here. Giants look pretty bad and all around. I think Antonio Brown might get his first start this week with the Buccaneers. Not sure, but I know the odds are for Bucks to win by 12, and I think the Bucks will win by at least 17. So I'm taking the Bucks to win and to cover odds. On bye weeks this week, we have the Cardinals, Redskins, or Washington. Keep messing up and saying Redskins, but it's Washington. Jaguars and Texans. Well, the Cardinals are going into bye week, you know, head over heels right here. They're excited. They got pulled off a huge upset and beat the Seahawks. It was in overtime, and it was just a crazy game. But it was good. I love seeing the Cardinals win since I live in Arizona now, so it was good. We got Washington. They have an impressive D line, and I know the Cowboys have no O line at all, but they were Washington was one of the teams that could put the most pressure on the Cowboys QB and the whole line, and they actually kept doing it. They kept it up with persistence, and they never let up. And I think they just have more heart, and Cowboys have nothing, no heart, no team, they're falling apart. We got the Jags falling the Chargers. I believe Jags are now one of the worst teams in the NFL as well. I don't know what happened. Uh, they went from winning some games, and now they're just losing. They could be tanking, but I don't see that. I think they tried to win, they just couldn't pull it off. I think they got a lot of work to do. And Texans, well, my thing here is they've lost it. They're done. They got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and it just went downhill. I believe ever since they did that. I think a lot of people felt bad about that trade too because it's practically one of the number one wide receivers in the NFL. Why would you get rid of him? Practically for a running back and a pick. I think a first round pick too. I don't think it was worth it, and I think it'll just be crazy to see if they even do anything the rest of the year. Is there any point? I know they can still possibly make it because there's two extra teams or whatever that can make it to the playoffs, but I guess we'll see. That's my picks of the week. Hopefully it helps anybody, or if you guys do any betting, or I know I will be. Uh, Starting next week, I'll show my bets. I'll write a pad where I show who I take, my parlays that I do, and just see how they do. And if anybody wants to match up with them, I'd be welcome to. That'd be great. Let me know what you think.